Today's program was brought to you by Mood Magazine, a new international quarterly publication about music and food. For more information, visit moodmusicfood.com. You're listening to Heritage Radio Network, broadcasting live from Bushwick, Brooklyn. If you like this program, visit heritageradionetwork.org for thousands more.
We talk about food, we talk about music, with musical dudes, finger on the pulse, snacky tunes.
All right, welcome to Snacky Tunes. That was just vibes, or as Heloise's mom says, vibes.
Vibes.
Heloise and the Savoir. Did I get that?
Savoir Faire.
Savoir Faire. Oh, man. There's actually like a French speaker
French.
in-house today. They'll be playing later on this very couch-inducing, drizzly Sunday. Before we get into the show, our hearts and thoughts and love go out to the entire Ace family. So sorry to hear the passing of Alex Calderwood, a true visionary, and he will be missed. If you guys need any additional information, you can go to the Ace Hotel blog. Sitting in for Greg today is the one and only Carter Adams. Welcome to Snacky Tunes.
I'm glad to finally be here after.
This is your first. This is your first time.
Yeah.
Welcome to the radio.
All right.
Welcome to the thing. That's the best thing about doing these shows on Sundays now. You can call audibles, like getting text while you're walking out the door, be like, "What are you up to?"
It's true.
And I said, "Looking for a co-host." Greg is over at the Ace Hotel for the Codathon. I'm Darren Bresnitz, and we have a very packed show today. First up, Marianne.
Hi.
How are you?
Bonjour.
I'm going to try and know your last name. Fabre Lavin.
Almost there. Marianne Fabre-Lanvin. Yeah.
It sounds so
C'est
much
Savoir,
better.
Faire.
No. When we had Anna from Le Footing on, we were playing a bunch of Fonsard, and I was just having her say the names of the songs, and it sounded so much better.
Keep inviting French people. You're getting free lessons
Now.
Now.
Well, I brought Carter on because Carter is one of my friends who's both an expert in French and wine. So you can direct.
I didn't tell you that earlier.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can direct most questions and pronunciations to him. But Marianne is the executive director of the U.S. branch of the Sud de France Development. For those who don't know what Sud de France is, what is it?
So we're sort of a trade organization that sell the dream of the Languedoc-Roussillon region. It's not only a dream; it's a fantastic region that's not very well known from Americans, but all over the world. It's sort of a hidden gem. It's southern France, but it's not the French Riviera, so it's like a third of the price for anything, but you get the same stuff. And there are wonderful food and wine products that come from that region. You may be familiar with dishes like cassoulet or côte brandade, and those come from Languedoc-Roussillon typically. And so on the wine side, we're the biggest wine producing region in the world. And something that may interest you is the fact that we're also the biggest organic wine producing region in the world, because that's a very dry and windy region. So it's easy. I mean, I shouldn't say easy because the producers are going to be very upset, but it's easier, let's say, to produce organic wine in the Languedoc-Roussillon region. In the Roussillon, there are 320 sunny days per year. So,
I like that.
Especially on a day like today.
Especially on a day like today.
Yeah.
Do you miss it? How often are you there, and do you miss it right now?
I'm going there for a month next month. No, wait. It's not as glamorous in the winter, I must say, though. But it's
still sunny, though, right?
It's still very sunny and beautiful, and you eat cassoulet. That's the good thing about winter.
Yeah.
One good thing.
Well,
yeah.
and you drink a lot of wine, and you like cassoulet.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's go back a little bit. How did you get involved with wine? I mean, obviously, being French, I think an eighth of your blood is wine. I'm not exactly sure what the percentage is.
Yeah, that's the only thing that it runs in our veins. In fact, in the U.S., the U.S. has become the first wine market in the world, but it's only 9 liters of wine per capita in the U.S., where French people drink average 45 liters of wine a year.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think I have most French people beat.
Yeah.
But the wine consumption is down in France these days. Even if it's 45, it's still not what it used to be.
It used to be 55 a few years ago, but the government is like trying hard to reduce the
good times.
Yeah,
the vibes.
Exactly.
Those anti-vibe rules.
Yeah, it's so strange, but we're warriors, and there will be a revolution if they try to reduce that consumption more.
Wine warriors, right?
Exactly. But in the US, it doesn't mean that people drink less. They drink more stuff like beer and whiskey.
Sure.
Like, the consumption of beer is 10 times consumption of wine in the US.
So how did you get involved?
I grew up in a family that used to make wine. Really bad wine, actually.
Really?
That they would bring to the cooperative. But my grandparents were very proud of it. And at the time in that region...
what region is this? What region?
That's the Languedoc-Roussillon.
Okay, so
it was near Narbonne, near the Corbière. So at that time, 30, 40 years ago, the region was known to be a bulk wine production region.
Yeah, basically, while it was the largest wine-growing region, it was just sold off. The grapes were sold off to larger,
Absolutely.
people who would make it. And, that's where you would get your big bottles in the grocery store and stuff like that.
Exactly, but then the New World came, and they became competitors to the producers of our region that were making cheap wine, and our producers could not compete making cheap wine because the labor would be less expensive always in those newer countries. Talk about Chile or a lot of South American wines. So they had to take all the bad vines off the fields and replant with quality grapes.
And when did that happen?
It happened 25 years ago. So little by little, that region started to make amazing wines, smaller production, and focused on quality because this is the only way they can survive because of their Savoir Faire, precisely.
There we go, full circle.
And the tradition and also the soils are amazing. So it's the time for people to buy Languedoc-Roussillon wine because it is totally underrated. The price tag does not correspond to the quality of the wine that's being offered at your local wine store.
And what are the typical grapes that are grown? People know Burgundy, which is Pinot Noir, or Bordeaux, which is more Merlot, Cabernet. But what is the indigenous grape variety?
There are many, and some of them are more Rhone grape. So it's going to be Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre. That would be to the east of the region. And then when you go towards the Roussillon, it is actually more Grenache grape because we're closer to Spain. But there are also grapes that only grow there, like Picpoul. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah, great.
This
great
amazing
whites,
appellation, Picpoul de Pinet. Yeah, those are very refreshing with marine sands, white wines that are perfect with oysters, for example. Yes.
Don't tell that to anybody from the Loire.
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm for diversity. There, like one day you'll have a Picpoul de Pinet, and another day, yes, you have a fantastic wine from the Loire, and we're not fighting against each other. There is room for everyone, and I believe that if you're curious, you should just pick different stuff and refine your palate. And that's what's happening in New York and other places where people are getting very nerdy about wine, or we're looking for weird grapes.
I think that we found that a lot of ex-musician record collectors and Carter.
Yeah,
you can really speak to this of just they've switched over to being.
Yeah, it's really funny just how
interesting.
In New York, just like the
old
the
school
revolution. Yeah, people who I think it just has to do with people who have a kind of
categorical mindset,
curatorial mindset as well. You go and you find something. One way that I saw, I've heard it described as kind of like record collectors and labels.
Yeah.
You find a label you like, you're like, okay, well, I don't know, but there's this new thing on Warp Records, and I haven't heard it, but I like all the other stuff, so I'm going to do it. So here, it's very often that with certain importers, you look at the back of the wine, you're like, oh, Louis Dresner, brings in this wine.
Right.
I know there are other ones. I'll check it out. And people are going deep, especially here in New York.
Yeah,
Super
absolutely.
deep.
There are importers like Zèvres Vin that you know.
Yeah.
Carter is spending some time there.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
He has a fantastic wine from the Roussillon, a natural wine called Matin Calme.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Very great wine.
You can find it at the Times and
Oh, I
some other
appreciate you bringing us
places.
a bottle of that today on this Sunday.
I'll get you a bottle this week.
You're getting a case tomorrow.
Awesome. So wait, so hold on. So just back to your story a little bit. So how did you wind up working with this wine?
So I moved to New York. Long story short, and I was working in advertising, and I was a friend of mine, a wine critic, told me about the opening of Maison de la Région Languedoc-Roussillon, so the house of my region.
This is actually like a chamber of commerce kind of.
It is, yeah.
And it's paid for by the region.
Absolutely.
Okay,
it's
so you're
funded by the local government.
You're a government employee.
Oh, you work
Yes.
for the government.
Absolutely. I'm a part-time spy.
Well, thank you
also.
so much for coming by. But no, so
So I, just like
Cultural
everyone.
affairs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was from the region, so of course, like a good candidate because I speak, from the heart. I know that region very well, like my pocket. Do you say that in English?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like
back
the
of my hand.
back of my
Okay.
hand.
Like my pocket. I like that. And you've been there for how many years now?
for 8 years.
So, what are the new and exciting things coming out of the region? Like, what can't you wait to see come to the American markets?
There are a lot of natural wine that now make the trip to the US. You can find some at Acme, for example. You can find some at the Pines and all the restaurants that Savoir work with, and that's a true revelation. In France, and especially in Paris, people are after vin naturel. That's how we call them, and that's possible in the Languedoc-Roussillon region.
Yeah.
Why? Because a lot of winemakers from all over the world come to experiment in the region. So it's very avant-garde. People do a lot of stuff with grapes that had not been grown in the region before, and there is a variety of soils that is unequaled. You have schist, you have sand, you have clay, you have all the type of soil you can imagine. We have like 30 appellations and then sub-appellations and 22 pays. So you can really experiment and come up with new things, new taste there. So I'm always amazed at the diversity that is coming from the region, and also type of wine. You were talking about Burgundy, where you have Pinot Noir for red wine and Chardonnay for white wine, but in our region we have about mainly they grow 30 different varieties in those different appellations. But yes, so the region is big as a country. Basically, it's very complex and very interesting to discover because you can't ever finish. And we produce sparkling wine also. Ooh. That's actually where the supposedly champagne method was invented in the Abbey of Saint-Hilaire in the 14th century. So Dom Pérignon brought actually the method of the second fermentation to Champagne afterwards.
Scandal.
Yeah, exactly. So the Champagne method was born in the Languedoc-Roussillon. We also have.
Would anybody from Champagne actually own up to that? Anyone from Champagne actually own up to that story?
Yeah, they don't want. They don't want to that to be too known.
Let's talk about something else.
Let's talk about something else.
Stealing the show clearly.
Yeah. So obviously, you are very knowledgeable about wine, and wine is sometimes something that we bring up here that is intimidating, but you also offer classes, right, at your showroom, and you have one coming up on Tuesday.
Yeah, there is one. There is one on Tuesday from 6 to 8-9, and there is another one on December 3rd because we're towards the end of a series of 10 tastings. So what's happening? We have about 60 people come to the showroom, and we teach them about basic tasting techniques. Basic wine tasting techniques, because we don't want it to be obscure and reserved to a few knowledgeable people, because wine is really about pleasure. It's not about. It's great to have an interesting knowledge about the wine because you can identify the wine you will appreciate more, but really it's about sharing, about observing, smelling. It's very central. So you don't need to be to have a PhD in wine to appreciate it, right?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
And then I guess the question would be for those, if can you find these wines in Whole Foods, or things like that? Like what are some wines that people probably are passing in front of every day that they should be checking out?
You can find them at Whole Foods and in any wine store really, and in like most restaurants too. So my advice would be to for people to ask the wine store owner, or I mean the wine store people, or they should ask their sommelier when they go to restaurant, because the sommelier and the people who work in the wine store know about those wines, and if you're looking into something that's delicious and between 15 and $25, they know where to direct you in the Languedoc-Roussillon area. But famous appellation would be Faugère,
Right.
Corbière,
Yep.
Picpoul de Pinet for the white, and there are a few Côtes du Rhône that are actually in our region too. So the Clairette, for example, Clairette de Bellegarde, or there are so many appellations. But the Minervois is very famous because we pair it with cassoulet.
Right.
Again. It's the season.
Cassoulet. It is the season, and today is a day for that.
I actually bought
Yeah.
cassoulet beans today.
Oh, well,
thinking
there we go.
Indeed.
It's time, yeah.
It's that
It was
time.
fate.
It's time, yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. We could talk on and on and on, but if people want to figure out about the wine or where to take the classes, where can they go online?
So I would recommend to go to our Facebook page. If you type Sud de France, New York, SUDDE France, New York, you'll find us. You'll find the link to get the tickets to our classes and all the events that info on all the events we're organizing. And in June 2014, we have an almost month-long festival.
I know.
Wait, stay tuned.
Which you did last year, which was fantastic.
Yeah, that was fantastic, with a ton of restaurants
The
and
Pines,
events
Hard
all over the
Sardines,
city.
all of them.
Yeah, the Sud de France Festival 2014.
New York
I'll
City.
come back to
You come
talk
back? Of
about
course
it.
you come back. You come back. All right, welcome back to Snacky Tunes. I love that jam. It's my new jam of the winter, which is here in full effect. Greg Morabito, welcome back to Snacky Tunes.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be back here.
Editor of Eater New York, blog that covers everything, restaurant, lifestyle, gossip. Your gossip's not... Well, no, you still do a lot of gossip.
Every now and again, we get some good gossip in there.
What's your favorite juicy bit of gossip you got recently that didn't make it on the site? No, you can't.
What is a good piece of gossip? You know, I mean, honestly, these days, like, gossip just turns into news.
Right.
But I think kind of the most interesting story along that lines is that, like, Polino's is closing, Keith McNally's restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, and he's going to reopen it as a small French restaurant, which is...
There's a stretch.
I think that's actually going to be great because...
Yeah. There's nothing... there's Barry Diner.
Right.
And there's not much down there.
There's DBGB.
DBGB.
I had lunch there today. It was delicious.
It's good,
as far
right?
as French goes.
They keep it going, yeah.
Yeah, they do good stuff. I mean, I think it was... But, he sort of got in front of that story. Because he definitely came out and said, this is the first time I had to close a restaurant. It's tough to admit, but, it's not working.
Yeah, he's. He did the right thing. You know, he owned up to it and talked about why it didn't work, and you know.
You mean from the get-go?
It's weird. It's like kind of the only Keith McNally restaurant that wasn't perfect from day one, or something. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
at least that's how I see it.
A lot of moving parts on that one.
Yeah,
sometimes it just doesn't. Having a named chef doesn't always work.
Right.
Sometimes you just need to be the one visionary.
But Nate Appleman is killing it at Chipotle.
He is
like.
No, yeah, he's actually really doing. He's really happy.
He's really happy. He was at the James Beard Awards and he made burgers, and it was like the only thing people were talking about at the James Beard Awards.
They were amazing burgers.
Have you had Nate Appleman's Chipotle sliders? I was like,
to be honest, the fact that he can bring sort of that ideal of sustainability and actually have a company behind it that can really practice what he preaches on that giant of a level, it's very rare.
Yeah.
You know. But enough about that.
Enough about Chipotle.
You are here
Nate
today.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Nate, though.
Shout out to Nate.
Shout out to Nate.
Big out to Nate. Nate Dogg.
Nate Dogg. You are here because tomorrow night is the annual Eater Awards, which have, over the years, become one of the best award nights in the city, if not all of food.
Wow, it's too kind of you. I like to think that's true, though.
I mean, it's a really good event. It's a really, really nice event. And this year's theme is Southern.
Yeah, it's kind of gotten bigger and bigger every year. Like the first year, which I guess was 2010, it was kind of this small thing at Public, and it was just basically mostly industry people. And then it's kind of gotten bigger and bigger and gotten expanded to bigger venues. And this year it was kind of like, well, you know, we have this great events team that keeps trying to think about how to outdo themselves every year and keep it interesting, especially for, you know, the food people that might have been there last year. So this year it's like there's a band, there's a theme, the South, and they have 11 chefs either directly from the South or Southern chefs working in New York kind of doing their specialties. Okay. So, I mean, that's like the big draw for food people is like you get to taste, you know, Hattie B's fried chicken. You know, Edward Lee's going to be cooking there. And
by the way, his cookbook, amazing.
Awesome.
So good. Smoking pickles?
I haven't checked it out, but I know that that's like one of the people that, you know, everybody on Team Eater is really excited to have there.
Yeah,
so.
and he's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's such a fun, nice guy. And he makes good food. I mean, you say in the promo video, South is having a moment, but I feel like that moment's been going on.
Yeah,
for a
it has
couple
been
years.
going on for a couple of years, and obviously we're not the first person to first people to say, "Wow, there's great food in the South." But
Wait, what?
right, listen, it's not just red beans and rice. No, it's there's some awesome chefs doing things down there, and we thought that having an event in New York that actually brought these chefs to New York might kind of open a little bit of channels of communication there, and maybe some New Yorkers would get to try this food without having to take the trip down south. So,
I mean, but it's worth it though. I mean, have you spent some time in the South?
no, I went to college in New Orleans. Other than that, though, I've not like visited all these hot food cities. Haven't been to Nashville, or everybody loves Charleston so much. It's like this awesome food city.
It is pretty awesome.
And all these places I want to visit, and all these restaurants. So,
I mean, there was that great article in Food and Wine where Sean Brock went to Africa to sort of find the origin.
that was crazy. Yeah.
Of like the Southern hospitality, the new Southern dishes, which are really just. I think he went to, Senegal, and he went and found the roots of and they found their take on gumbo and their take on that stuff, and you go, oh right, it's African dishes, which most people don't put two and two together until you go, oh right, we have that sort of torrid history of the things that happened in the South.
It's very interesting.
Is he coming up?
He might be there as a guest or nominee, but he's not going to be cooking there. So,
Interesting, but he's cooked before in the past with you guys.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think I remember that. I think he was, it's like every year there have been kind of amazing chefs. Like we had Andy Ricker doing Pok Pok Wings, a year before he expanded here. We had the second year we had Aaron Franklin from Franklin Barbecue doing his brisket, and it was the first time it had been served. And we had Danny Bowen doing something for Mission Chinese.
And you guys, I mean, obviously have your finger on the pulse about so much of the food stuff of just since you're now in so many regions, including Austin and Louisville and things like that. It's just really, whenever I see who wins the regional awards, those go to the top of my list. You had Barley Swine from Austin, which is one of the best restaurants in the country, and just, not the restaurant you would think of when you think of Austin, Texas.
Right. It's interesting. I mean, looking at all the other cities, I think I have the number right, but there's 29 cities or sites right now.
I mean,
including 3 in Canada now.
Montreal,
Toronto, and Vancouver.
Can I go right for the Montreal eater? I don't speak French. Obviously,
Montreal.
Obviously, I don't speak French.
Montreal has a serious food thing going on right now, or they've always had it.
They always have, and it's nice to see. And look, Joe Beef, Pied de Cochon. Carter and I went to Pied de Cochon last night. It's delicious. And it's
we actually had a very expensive, very nice bottle of wine from the Languedoc.
Yeah,
bringing it full.
Real full circle.
Yeah, it was
sharp memory.
It was Barral. It was so good. One of the best wines I've ever had.
This is why I don't think I'll be a wine guy. I was like, we had wine. I think I don't even remember that we had wine, but there we are.
We had lots of things.
Wine
was one of them.
But it's so nice to see guys outside of those three chefs really being highlighted and celebrated, which you can only really get when you do. Because anyone who goes there to do a report, a TV thing on Montreal, it's well, if you don't go to those guys and go to Schwartz's, why are you even really here?
Totally. I mean, I guess it's this weird thing now that any city has great food. I don't know if it's always been the case or if there's something about the food climate right now. There's great restaurants everywhere.
Well, I think it's a shift. I mean, I think people used to be like, oh, British food sucks. It's well, maybe British food that is trying to be other food, but if you go in and be this is a British specialty, or this is these meat pies are great, but they're meat pies.
Right.
I'm sorry, Carter, I stepped on you. What were you saying?
No, it's definitely true. I grew up in the South, so first 20 years of my life or more were in Georgia, and food just was food, and now to see this resurgence, there was never places that I was excited to go, barbecue was the good food, because you knew that was the one place. If you went to barbecue, everything was made from scratch.
Right.
And that was kind of the safe bet. Everything, if not, it was Cisco services and stuff like that. So now it is exciting to, go to Atlanta or to go to Asheville and be wow, there are amazing restaurants here that rival the best stuff I've had in New York.
Yeah. And to speak to that point, even growing up in the suburbs of Philadelphia, the concept of from scratch growing up was not, not at the top of my list. I was I'd never even really thought of well, this is coming from a can or this is processed. Just like we just went to restaurants.
Right.
But now it's like everything's like, well, where can I go where I know it's getting the best ingredients?
Totally. I also think there's this weird thing that, Eater covers a lot of is like, what's a buzzy hot restaurant, Some restaurants just have this like X factor where you walk in and you're like, whoa, this place is cool. There's something interesting and exciting in the air, And I think that like, especially some of the restaurants that are coming to Eater Awards from the South, they have that,
Of
And
course.
if they were in New York right now, they would be totally competing with all the other restaurants
Right.
in New York or San Francisco or LA or whatever, They have that buzz and excitement thing that's hard to kind of put your finger on and quantify.
Well, I think I hate to say it, I think Glassery in
Oh,
Greenpoint
yeah.
was the last buzzy, super hot, but totally delivered restaurant where I think the last one before that was maybe Acme when it opened, where you walk in and you go, there's like such a vibe, it's
Right.
so new, it's so fresh, and then you go, holy shit, there's like a dozen or 2 dozen like industry or like fashion or whatever players like in the actual room.
Oh, yeah. I live fairly close to Glassery, and every time I see somebody, like I feel like I saw you on the street, actually, and you're like, yep, just coming from Glassery. It's like, every time
Oh, yeah.
I see somebody, I
Yes.
know somebody, I'm like, hey, what's going on? Where are you going? They're like, I'm going to Glassery.
Yeah.
On my way there now.
It's great. I mean, it's rare that a restaurant really nails it and is that packed. And also, I mean, obviously it's relative. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Right.
Like, let's be honest. Like, New York, for the people that I've seen there, I go, you don't leave Manhattan.
It's part of its charm, though. I mean,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
has
yeah.
this completely weird. I mean, it's kind of like Roberta's. It has this kind of amazing space, and you don't expect when you walk in that it's going to be there or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think another buzzy place out here is the Elm, which I actually
Yeah.
just had brunch at for the first time today.
All right.
And we ordered. I was with the wonderful Jamie Feldmar, the manager at Serious Eats, and we ordered. And it was great. And then we got up to leave, and it was so crappy outside, and we had passed 2 or 3 of the burgers that we sat back down and got one of the burgers.
Oh man, that burger! Did you liked it?
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
Yeah.
I actually felt that without the burger. I mean, it's been a long time since I did double lunch in the actual same place, but that burger, I really like brunch. The burger put me over the top. It was the Comté cheese and the fries and the Dijon dipping sauce.
Yeah, I had it for the first time on Friday night, late night, and it's weird to think of that place is you can walk in there at 10:30 and order a burger now,
I know.
But it's great. It hasn't lost some of its. It's still a fine operation, and they still
Yeah.
give you little mignardise or whatever, when you start out. But for $18, that's. I mean, I'm convinced I'd have to try it again, but I think it's definitely a top 10, top 5 burger. It's really
gonna start-
It's really crazy. It's like the Minetta Tavern burger, but
That Comté cheese is just gives it its funk.
yeah,
It just and it's a good size too.
yeah. It's you can hold it easily in one hand. It's not like a meat monster, and at $18 with fries, it's
I mean, it's definitely yeah. I mean, you definitely have to think about it if you're going to order it because
That's true.
I don't know if we hadn't had our own separate brunch whole order before it if I would have
Yeah.
been totally full, but we split it and I was like, this is really rich. But it was a good vibe. I mean, it was actually packed.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I think that place is awesome.
Yeah. What I mean, and I know that you're here talking about the Eater Awards, but
yeah.
we can't get you in here without talking about what's coming up for the next month or two. What can we
Sure thing.
expect?
Oh yeah, what's coming out? Well, I guess the big one that we're all really excited about is Danny Bowian's sequel to Mission Chinese, Mission Cantina, which
Wow, Mission Chinese still remains closed.
Yes, it's
Last
always
time I
a
checked.
replacement, not even a sequel.
Mission Chinese, I do believe, will open probably again by the end of the year. I think they're doing the thing they always should have done, which is kind of fix that space. But the problem is that Soho House is going in behind that, so they're digging. So
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's going to be a Soho house.
The right behind Mission Chinese is this old synagogue. They're turning into the Soho
Oh, the
House.
synagogue?
So that's what I heard, that they're digging, and they're digging up in anything in New York. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
here's the sad
Gotta
thing:
go
every
somewhere.
restaurant in this city has rats in the basement. It's how you deal with it, and how you keep it clean. It's there's no way to
There's no way.
control that to a certain extent. They had some bad luck with the DOH. I think they maybe need to make some necessary improvements, but I do
Yeah.
believe they will, because it's that place, and they just launched delivery, and I heard delivery was they were killing it on
Well,
delivery.
I think they have. I forget what service it is, but they hooked up with this new service. It's only offered at like a dozen or so restaurants.
At Caviar.
Yeah. For like just a flat $10 fee,
Right.
they'll deliver up to like 59th Street.
Totally.
Which is, I mean, that's just a game changer.
Oh yeah, it's great.
That's really just. I can't imagine. I can imagine like how many of the like Columbus Circle, just like Powerhouse, and even like Wall Street, we're doing Mission Chinese for lunch.
Oh yeah. Well, I loved it. Like the day after they introduced it, Mario Batali like tweeted a photo of just like a table full of food, and he's like, "Mission Chinese delivery rocks" or something.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, at last, all these people can get this without have to wait in line. You know.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely ways to get around waiting in line, but nothing's as awesome as the actual experience of going there.
But yeah, his Mission Cantina, it's like this weird thing where they've hosted so many preview dinners for friends, and you know, the other night it was like Alice Waters and Renee Redzepi were having dinner there, and they met for the first time, and everybody's just going crazy for it. Mexican, but I hear it's actually going to be more like it's just kind of whatever he wants to cook, you know?
Right.
Like it's
I'm
interesting.
sure it'll be delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, he knocks it out of the park with Szechuan food.
The other one that I'm really stoked for is this place Alonda, which is right by Union Square, which is Chris Jackal, who was at I Fiore.
Okay.
And Chris Cannon, who's kind of this legendary front of the house guy. But everybody that, you know, tasted Chris Jackal's food at I Fiore was like, this guy has great talent. He's a great chef. So this new restaurant, he's doing a Venetian Venetian cuisine, but he's fusing it with Japanese cuisine.
Sure.
Because he thinks they have a shared brain cell in terms of the way they use ingredients or something. Or he's like, these two cuisines, they both respect ingredients in the same way. And he also, as a chef, used to train at, I believe, Morimoto.
Okay.
So, I don't know if New York's ever had Japanese Italian fusion. But I think that the city's ready for it. Yeah.
We have Japanese Jewish fusion already, which apparently I haven't been there, but everybody who has been is like,
Shalom,
it actually
Japan,
works.
right?
Yeah, I haven't checked it
Everyone
out.
I've talked
People
to
really like it. Yeah.
It's been like, I went in being like, haha, and being like, oh, it's actually quite tasty.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean those are good.
Schmaltz ramen, I can get behind that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
How could you say no? I think the point is maybe with that place is that those two chefs are really talented and they're going to make it work.
And married.
And married.
It's
Their talent extends to marriage. Yeah.
So I know we got to wrap this up so we can get the band on, but I just want to ask two 2014 trend predictions.
Yeah. Okay.
What do we got? What and then what is? Let's do three things. What are we going to see the end of? Like, what does 2013 put to bed as far as trends? And then what are two things we're going to see in 2014 that isn't delicious French organic wine? Because obviously we know that is coming down the pipeline.
I think we're going to hit a wall with Latin shareable small plate things because it's been a big, like, there's some great people that have done great restaurants like that. Like ABC Cocina, it's like, whoa, it's the Latin ABC kitchen and everything's a small plate, you know.
I just ate there. It was delicious.
It's delicious.
Delicious.
And the guys from Toro are killing it doing that, you know?
Toro is awesome. It was not what after meeting Jamie and never being to Toro in Boston, I did not expect it to be like a meatpacking district.
Right.
But it works.
I think we're going to see a lot more copycats of that. I mean, there's already, you know, it's like weirdly, you know, it's hard to say why trends happen, but it's like,
Money.
So Danny Boyan's doing that. The EMM group, the Kings of the Club restaurant, they just opened like a Pan Latin small plates restaurant as well.
Right.
It's like I think that we're just gonna hit a wall with it at some point.
Are we gonna hit a wall because like it's just not that good? Like whatever the
I think everybody that's doing it now is, you know, especially Toro and the ABC Cocina guys are great. I think we're gonna start getting the ones that aren't very good though. I'll put it that way.
Right.
And then it's gonna be like the trend killer.
So, adios, Latin.
Maybe. Or maybe it'll keep going on forever, like burgers and, you know,
I mean,
fried chicken.
Hey, I mean, the thing about burgers and fried chicken is that it's so built into our culture that, like, I'm never going to be mad or tired of a good piece of fried chicken or burgers.
Right.
I'd be like, another piece of delicious fried chicken.
I'm trying to think what else. I mean, I think next year we're going to see probably a lot of guys that were kind of young guns 5 years ago expanding like crazy. Like the Teresi crew, those guys are on fire right now. They have like more projects kind of lined up. I mean, they're at least doing another Parm, you know. And
oh, really?
they're doing a Parm in Battery Park City. They're doing a
Ooh.
hotel restaurant somewhere on the Lower East Side. Ages ago, they were signed on to do something with the new Whitney Museum, I believe, by the High Line. I don't know if that's still going on.
Interesting.
I mean, so I think they're one to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the new place yet.
Carbone?
No, I've been to Carbone.
Oh, I haven't been to ZZ's yet.
I haven't been. Carbone was great, but ZZ, I'm just
Yeah.
like, that's a whole other level of like.
I'm most interested about the cocktails there because they just look crazy.
Yeah.
They're like these...
If anybody wants to take me to a business meeting,
Oh, yeah.
and put down their card, I know a great
Right.
place we can go.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, last prediction. Let's say food. Like, what are we going to see more food of?
Ooh, what more food? The sort of Nordic cuisine thing.
More and more.
Well, we just haven't reached a saturation point with it, and I think that we're gonna people keep opening interesting restaurants like that.
Where are we
I
at
think
now? We're at Oscar, Acme, Torst.
There's this new place, Skull, that's
Okay.
apparently very good on the Lower East Side. That kind of hasn't really had its moment yet, but
Mhm.
everybody that's been there really loves it. I think that that's still
Yeah.
going.
Well,
I'll wait for Danny Meyer's, Steven Starr to do their,
Buddha
Nordic
Coast
restaurant
or whatever
Yeah.
it is. Or
and then maybe after that we'll have hit a wall.
we'll hit a wall. Well,
Yeah.
Greg, always a pleasure.
Yeah,
I'll see you tomorrow night.
yeah. Thanks for having me. And one last thing, if anybody wants to come to Eater Eve, which is the pre-awards
Tonight.
event tonight at 7, there are some tickets left available at the door. So,
Awesome. And where is
Yeah.
that?
It's at Angel Orange Sands, which is on Norfolk Street.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's just
Yeah.
church turned event space. But I guess going to church is always an event. So
Yeah. Well, thanks again for having me on, man.
yeah, we'll have you
Yeah.
back. We always
All right.
have you back. You're
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I had 6 more weeks to go. I'd be over that mountain. Thinking my way, I'm always thinking my way home. When you left me all alone, without any warning, over and over we go. I've been living my night on, darling. Coughing lovesick down to a new low. Nor in my imagination did I see where this story would go. A sight I thought I'd never know. This void is a vision. Light is the same and every color remains. Oh, when it went domino, with fire's precision, over and over we go. I've been leaving my night on, darling, coughing lovesick down to a new low. Nor in my imagination did I see where this story would go.
Song's so good. we're all laughing. We're just dipping into the hamburger joke books that was brought to us today, which is we're going to get into super deep. I'm going to butcher the name again. I'm just going to say it right now. Heloise and the Savoir. Savoir.
Getting closer.
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 Welcome to Snacky Tunes. Can you tell me about this hamburger joke book that you brought? Please?
Well, yeah, the hamburger joke book is actually, it belongs to my friend Joe Shepard, who's here with us. And I don't know, it's just ridiculous, terrible humor, which...
Can I say one right now?
I mean, you don't even have
please.
to ask. Just
okay.
launch, go.
So how do we know burgers love young people?
They're protein.
Oh! You just read that one.
I just read it. I just read it.
I was like, holy shit, Carter!
Sorry.
He's a good co-host.
Sorry.
No, but wait, hold on. What's the tagline on the book and the cover? Because I think that might be the best one.
Meaty jokes to be devoured with relish.
It's just...
That's the best.
It's
joke.
so good. What year did that come out? I feel like that was the year of, 70s, 80s when they're, we're putting out joke books, and it was, super niche.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm working through, this whole, Tic Tac hot dog.
Yeah, 78.
Yeah, right on the money.
I definitely own some joke books. I would buy joke books and then just be like, ugh, rolling my eyes at every joke. This is so terrible. I could write a better joke book as a 12-year-old. And I think I started actually writing my own joke book. But, of course, I haven't been published yet.
We could do a Kickstarter for that.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Fuck the album. I got this
Right,
joke
totally.
book. Well, I want to welcome you to Snacky Tunes. We are big fans of what you do and the music you make. Tell us a little about yourself. Where are you from? What's your sign? What's your favorite type of food joke?
You already know that.
Yes, hamburgers.
Well, my name is Heloise, and the band we're a Brooklyn band for a long time. Now I currently live in Vermont. It's electronic dance music.
What's the EDM scene in Vermont like?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It's gotta
Wait,
be
did you go to the rave?
killing it, right?
The rave at the Ben and Jerry's factory?
Oh my God!
I heard it was very creamy.
Oh. King of puns.
Actually, I want to take that back. I heard it was very chill.
It's totally chill. It's totally chill.
Keep 'em coming.
Keep them coming. Yeah.
Collaborate.
Oh, it's that ice cream EDM joke book I've been hearing so much about. So what are you doing up in Vermont? Where are you? Burlington?
Yeah.
Town's awesome.
Yeah. It's nice there. I get a lot done. Yeah. I wrote this record that just came out. No, it's true because
official name of that's the slogan of town. Burlington. You can get a lot done.
well, because my social life is kind of not as it once was. So I just, do a lot of work. But no, oh my God, I'm a terrible interviewee. So,
No, you're great.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, so I went up there to write this record, which came out in March. It's called Diamond Dust.
Great record, by the way.
Thank you very much. And I sort of had I would like to think an early midlife crisis. I was like, what am I doing? And I wanted to go back to school. So I started doing pre-med stuff. And then I was like, I don't want to do that. I ended up working in this weird mind-body medicine lab, testing the effects of music on the brain and whether or not it could be prescribed as a pain analgesic and blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, fuck it, I just want to sing.
You just blah, blah, blah. The craziest thing we've ever heard on this show. You can describe music as an antidote, blah, 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 blah. That's the most Vermont thing I've ever heard.
Right, I know.
Dr. Feelgood?
I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's also sort of boring. I mean, experiments are very cool conceptually, but actually doing them is sort of tedious. And you have to be very exacting about everything, and that's not really my forte. I'm kind of like to...
Mix it up?
Yeah.
Mix it up a little?
Scream and make mistakes and fall down. And not all the time, but...
Not all the time. So tell me about the album, Diamond Dust.
So, yeah, I mean, I was trying to have some deep thoughts, secretly in some electronic dance music. I don't know if it came off that way or not, but I mean, some of the songs are more well thought out than others. Others are just feeling the words are going along with the feeling. But, yeah, it's put out, Elijah Wood is our record label. He has a record label called Simeon Records. We're the only artists on that record label, which is kind of amazing.
You are the record label.
Yeah.
Yep. And it used to be Apples and Stereo. We're on, well, I mean, he put out a record with them too, and now he's doing he's got a new production company. It's called SpectraVision. He's doing horror movies and stuff like that. So,
Oh wow.
Are you
Yeah.
scoring any of those?
well, I mean, I would love to. Yeah, I've talked to him about it, and actually, he's got some really interesting. I mean, I probably can't even talk about it, but he's got some good people that are working on these
Yeah,
these
don't worry about it.
horror
No one's
movies and stuff like
listening,
that.
so
No,
you
okay,
can
but
talk about
it's cool. It's gonna be it's exciting.
So, like, do you just have to text Elijah Wood and be like, "Hey, I need you to send me 150 LPs for the tour," and he'll be like, "Right back at."
Oh, no, it's a little less like that.
E-dubs, what's happening?
Yeah.
E-dubs and
I need that product stat.
No, it's more like I started my own record label also at the same time because I was like, I need to like have my because I'm. So it's called Copio. So this record came out on Copio and Simeon Records, and Copio stands for Keep On Pumping It Out, which is my attitude about life.
It's amazing, like burger jokes, right?
Very easy to do in Vermont. Just keep on pumping
Just
it
keep on
out.
pumping it out. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
I don't know, but let's hear one of these deep thoughts.
Okay. Oh, you mean a song?
I mean,
Oh God. Well, like, okay, maybe I don't. Let's do a not deep thought, and then let's do a deep thought.
all right, let's get
Okay.
let's get some
Shallow thoughts.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's get some like Valley Girl stuff going on.
I mean, song wise.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, something
right.
like send out, give us like a tweet, like a fast tweet. You knew it was coming. I mean, you're set up. So
Not deep thoughts with Heloise.
yeah. No, but give us something. What do you want to play?
So, well, I think I want to do Dance Floor Destroyer first,
Of course.
and then we'll do Paralandra, which is based off of C.S. Lewis. He did the space trilogy.
That is a deep thought.
All right,
And,
we'll get it.
okay, that's the deep thought.
that's
I don't wanna
going-
start
that
with
is
deep
going
thought.
But we're
deep.
gonna do one song first, and then we'll get into some C.S.
Okay,
Lewis.
good. Okay, cool.
All right, so you're gonna stand up for this one,
Yeah,
right?
I am because I can't sing sitting.
It's fine. All right.
Give you some room. I'm gonna go over here.
No, I think I'm gonna go over there actually. That's okay with everyone.
All right. Yeah, we're good.
Sure.
All right. So here we go. We're getting set up right here. Who with the actual French accent wants to introduce them?
It's Heloise and the Savoir Faire.
Ooh. So much better. Here we go. Live on Snacky Tunes.
Dance floor destroyer. She's coming for you. She'll take your breath away. There's nothing left to say. Don't you worry about that. It's just a panic attack. It won't stop until the morning comes. And that's the feeling of coming under. Ooh, 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 oh, yeah. Ooh, dance floor destroyer. Well, she's coming for you. She'll take your breath away. There's nothing left to say. Dance floor destroyer. Well, she's coming for you. She'll take your breath away. Nothing left to say. Dance floor destroyer. Well, I'm feeling a demon. Yeah, I'm feeling a demon. Well, I'm feeling a demon. Can you feel the fire burning out of control? Can't you see? It's just my soul. Feeling.
Very good. Amazing.
I like that. So that was not a deep thought.
No, that's just like That's just like going for the gold. Go for the gold.
You got it. You got it. So let's talk about C.S. Lewis then.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, where do you get your ideas for your? I mean, do you enjoy both the writing process of something where that's, Dance Order Stories are very just like, we're going to go out and have fucking balls to the wall fun.
Yeah.
And then C.S. Lewis goes, all right, we're going deep on this one.
Well, I was actually like really interested in like why people tell the same story over and over again. Like so many religions are basically the same story, but like, they call themselves something different.
Right.
And just mythology and where those stories originated from. So, I mean, it's like a huge undertaking. I was like, okay, so the seat of civilization is in the Euphrates and Babylon and all that stuff. And like, because they had agriculture, they were able to like hang around and talk, and maybe that's where the first stories came from, blah, blah, blah. I mean, anyhow, then C.S. Lewis is really interesting because, well, not to get back to the Lord of the Rings, but the whole like William Morris, actually, I was looking into too, because he was a buddy of C.S. Lewis, and he was doing a lot of like translations of these Icelandic myths, which is like the basis of, I guess, Tolkien's like Lord of the Rings. Like he really liked these translations, and then C.S. Lewis was a contemporary of his, and I'd always been like a fan, of course, of like Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and all those books, but I was always afraid to go into his like adult Christian mysticism stuff because I feel like, I feel like I'm a spiritual person, but it's not like I would never call myself a Christian, and I actually think Christianity is really super scary. It's like the scariest one out there. So, but I was like, I'm going to just see what he has to say about,
right.
this, because all these, like Milton and all these authors have kind of, Dante, gone into like, these big stories. And so Paralandra is, it's his version of Venus, and it's like this water planet, and so it's his take on like female energy, and it's also a retelling of Paradise Lost, and Satan arrives, and the beginning, the descriptions are really beautiful, and so I was inspired by that, and I don't know, I just wrote kind of like, it's like really loosely based on that book, but it's not like. It's like Light and Shadow is kind of like the sort of, there's not really a chorus, but I would say that's kind of the chorus. And
do you get upset when you've poured all this thought and emotion into a song and people go, "Oh, it's a good tune"?
No, I think that's all I want to hear.
That's
actually,
hear.
Yeah, I don't care.
I mean, is it important for you to people to pull the same meaning and be like, "Oh, is that a C.S.
No,
Lewis?"
Not at all. I don't. It's just for me. I mean, honestly, like I want to like what I'm talking or singing about, or like. That's it.
So when you're writing songs like this, like what's the scene? Are you like drinking wine? You're like...
Well, to be totally honest, this Paralandra is really funny because I actually I read the back of the book and I was like, okay, cool, that sounds good. And then I wrote the song and then I read it.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's totally. I was like, cool.
Did your intentions match up?
And I was drunk, and a lot of the some of the album is kind of recorded semi-drunk too, because I don't even remember. I mean, like that's
red wine from the Languedoc Roussillon.
That's exactly what
while reading Eater.
Soup de France, inspiring Vermont dance records.
Yes, the blood, the Savoir blood, the French blood was flowing.
Can we hear that song?
Yes.
Can you jam it?
Let's jam it.
Were you just every time you have a C.S. Lewis reference, is the whole thing a C.S. Lewis reference?
No.
This whole song is.
The whole song is okay. All right. Well, here we go.
It's called Paralandra.
What's it called?
Paralandra. Can we turn this up in here?
Science fiction book, paint a green shadow on a gray. every day, forever and on and on. Just keep loving you till the end of this song, 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 song. Never ending song, 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 song. Never ending song, 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 song. Never ending song, 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 song. On the pink calendar of dark moon, your time will be here soon. Dark shadow and a white cross. No time to feel so lost. The light and shadow, the light and shadow, oh, the light and shadow, the light and shadow, oh, the light and shadow, the light and shadow, oh, the light and shadow, the light and shadow. The dreams you keep holding on to sleep and being the one you keep holding on to. I don't wanna know the way the dream unfolds. I only wanna feel you when you hold me close. It keeps filling out the flow. Everyone's freaking out every day, forever and on. Just keep loving you till the end of this song, 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 song. Never ending song, 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 song. Never ending song, 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 song. Never ending song, 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 song.
A deep thought.
That is the deepest, partiest, jammest thought.
Thank
What?
you guys.
It was great.
I don't- okay. It's just
What-
like-
what's going
I
on?
don't know. I'm just like clearly like dissolving into a red, blushing, weird mess. I'm like, ooh.
You sound great.
Okay, thanks, Darren.
It's
Thanks,
Sunday
I appreciate it.
afternoon.
I know. I'm just being
It's
a
the
weirdo.
most low, fresh. Hey, could someone rip off a hamburger joke just so we can get the mood back? Where's that book? You got it. What? Read a joke. Hit us one.
Which burgers can tell you your fortune?
Which?
Tell your fortune. Which? Medium burger.
Medium burger.
Red one.
I did not.
Joke is definitely better with a French accent.
Yeah, and I don't think any of us saw that coming.
Everything is
Yeah.
with a French accent.
Well, listen.
Yeah.
It's been awesome having you here.
Thank you.
And we definitely want to fit one more song in.
Okay, great.
But what does the future hold? Deep thoughts, party jams,
Whew, James, take
mashups.
it. Oh, for us.
Yeah, for you.
We just made some. I guess they're remixes. I don't know what we'd call them really. We just slowed down a couple songs and added different parts to them. It's sort of in the dub reggae sort of tradition of things. And those we're gonna release sometime soon.
Yeah, actually, I think this is kind of funny because I feel like when I was younger, like I always wanted life to be faster, faster, faster. So all the songs I did were like really fast, and now I feel like I'm getting to an age where like I want time to slow down, and so I just want to listen to slower things. So yeah, we just slowed down. It was inspired by listening to one of these tracks like it's supposed to be a 45, but we listened to it on 33, so the record was like pitched down and slower, and then I just basically sang over it, and I really like them. I'll give them to you.
Yeah. Our friend Julian, who DJ'd at Carter's birthday on Friday, does a pitched down version of Flock of Seagulls I Ran.
Ooh.
That works.
Excellent, yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, some songs just are so much better. I mean, I'm not saying that I like my original versions. I just really like these also slow. That's all I have to say.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you love your
Right.
babies and you have more babies.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Can I ask what's your favorite Vermont food? Have you been to Bove's up there?
Yes.
Bove's. Shout out to Mark Bove.
Yes, and
Okay,
also it's so
Mark,
funny.
For those who don't know, Mark Bove is this guy who makes like classic red sauce Italian food, but really good and everything you like. It's everything you want out of it. And he makes brick-sized pieces of lasagna.
Oh my God! And it's funny. Our friend Scott Lenhart, who's Joe's roommate, he did all the labels for Bove's. And
Oh, really?
yeah, so he made these oil paintings of the labels.
They're amazing.
Yeah, and
He's crushing it. He's so
the
good.
tomatoes. He's crushing everything.
Crushing it with tomatoes. Wow. Nice. Super
Trying,
saucy
trying.
jokes.
Oh.
But yeah, Bo's. What else are you eating up there?
Well, Hen of the Wood, which was in Waterbury, just opened in Burlington, and
Oh, yeah.
I have a bunch of friends who, whatever, the Eric and his partner, and delicious. It's delicious food.
And Shelburne Farm is always a classic.
Yes,
Shelburne Farm.
seasonal.
But like, if you get a chance to actually stay out there and eat there, it's,
Oh my God! Or just have a cocktail and like look at the lake, and you just hang around and pretend like you're like a Vanderbilt.
yeah,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I like to wear really long dresses when I go there and be like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, so you're just checking like a ticker tape of stock prices.
oh yeah,
Of course.
I wish.
Of course. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming out. I want to thank all of you.
Thank you.
What we got? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 of us in the studio. We're gonna have one more song, but shout out to Roberta's Heritage Radio Network. Stay tuned. We have some details coming up. I think December 4th. The Pork Slip Tall Day guys are doing a big benefit for the Philippines, which you will hear about. We're going to do a special show on the 1st, and I think the Maharlika people are doing something at the Madison Square Garden. You know anything about that, Greg?
I have not heard about that yet.
It's happening. Anyway, it's,
MSG, huh?
yeah, that's the rumor. It's sort of like the 12-12-12 concert for him, something like that. Well, anyway, thank you, everybody. Carter, thank you so much for sitting in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Again, thoughts and love and everything out to the Ace family. It's going to be a tough time, but it's going to get better. So what do we got for this last song? And how do we find you online if we want all the nuts and bolts to find your album?
Facebook, it's Heloise with an H. It's actually Heloise.
Ooh.
It's a French show today.
Are you French?
No, my mom just wanted to be French.
Close enough.
She's British, so she went to France a lot. Anyhow, we can get into that later.
Oh, yeah.
But
That's a post-show wine conversation.
yeah, it is. It's a long one. Yeah, Heloise, Heloise, and the Savoir Faire, which is SAVOIRFAIRE. Why did I name it this? I don't know. But
And is it and or is it an ampersand?
it's and or ampersand. I don't.
Yeah, but I mean, social media is specific in that.
I think it's and. It's spelled out. There's no
Okay.
ampersand.
All right.
Thank you very
There's
much.
Google
Darren,
for these
saying that.
things.
Yeah.
That's what I was
mean, like,
thinking.
it's,
Just
it's
Google
there.
it. Google it.
A real
Um,
stickler for his ampersands.
Google me. No.
Google me. That could be your next non-deep thought song.
And it's all about googly eyes and like.
I don't know. I have to imagine that there's some like Google me song.
There's got to be a Google me song.
Sure.
So what's this last jam? Is it a deep
This is-
thought? Power
this is-
ballad?
This is, well, I mean, secretly deep thought. It's loosely based on the myth of Prometheus before the movie came out. And
It's a song.
it's called Vibes.
It's vibes. Opening track of song. Full circle.
yeah,
So many full
full
circles.
circle.
We have. Who's got the hamburger book? Can we do one last one? French accent, please.
Oh yeah.
Lean into that microphone. Here we go. Last hamburger joke. Shout out to Joe. Thank you so much, as always. Hanging out on Sundays. All right, make it a juicy one.
What is a hamburger's favorite story?
What?
Hansel and Gretel.
Oh,
We need another. It's a redo.
Redo.
Where did the burger go after the wedding?
Where?
On a bunny moon.
Oh man.
Okay.
I mean, you could just see the hell that is like hey man, we need 150 burger jokes in about a week, and he gets through 25, and he's like, no problem, and then they're like, oh, I wonder if he went through all the other food jokes, and it was just like, here's the 150 setups. You need to fill in the punchline.
I wrote that book in like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, and then he did like
So it's
In 1955.
So it's 78. He's got
Yeah.
a pound of cocaine,
Oh my
and they're like,
God.
we need 100 burger jokes.
I got this.
I was
I
just
got
thinking-
this. I got this. I haven't slept in 2 weeks. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We'll be back next week with another awesome show. It'll be episode 175. So there we go, marching on. Shout out to everybody. We'll see you at the Eater Awards next week. I'll be the guy in the blazer talking about food. So just find me. Okay, here we go. Thank you so much.
Snacky tooth.
Make my heart beat. I'm not a pushy, so the vibe from the God's cup, and baby you gave it to me. Still in fire, I'm feeling you tonight. Been so long that I nearly lose my mind. Ooh. Oh, oh, oh. You make my heart beat. So the vibe from the God's above, and baby you gave it back to me. Up in the stars high, I see your beauty. But when the sun rises, you are lost to me. Splash of muscle and muscle bone to metal and metal to stone. Still in fire, I'm feeling you tonight. Been so long that I nearly lose my mind. Ooh, oh, oh, oh. Could I ask me, baby? I'm not a bird, I'm not a machine. So the vibe from the God's above, and baby they gave it back to me. Up in the stars high, I see your beauty. When the sun rises, you are lost to me. Splash of muscle bone to metal, and let it go.
Thanks for listening to this program on heritageradionetwork.org. You can find all of our archived programs on our website or as podcasts in the iTunes Store by searching Heritage Radio Network. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at heritage_radio. You can email us questions at any time at info@heritageradionetwork.org. Heritage Radio Network is a non-profit organization. To donate and become a member, visit our website today. Thanks for listening.